get your friends, get your neighbors, get your co-workers, and go out and vote for a Republican House and a Republican Senate.
That was Donald Trump this evening rallying the faithful in Indiana, his second visit since Friday. Democratic Senator Joe Donnelly is vulnerable and the GOP smells blood.
Vote Republican.
Trump also touched down in Ohio today, another battleground that could tilt the national standings, and we've got that one covered. A bit later, Rosie will ask voters there how the parties clinched their support. She'll also fill you in on the high stakes for Canada in this historic vote.
All across the country, we're seeing a record number of women who are running. And Lord knows we need more women in charge.
Barack Obama, a bit hoarse from his own tour to boost Democratic fortunes, touched on the record groundswell of female candidates. Many are running in Florida, and Paul Hunter is in that swing state tonight. He'll tell you why the Florida ballot is consequential from top to bottom. But first, let me show you what's going down here in Tennessee. It's surrounded by red states, but Tennessee isn't so easily defined. Sure, Trump won it by 26 points in 2016, but a Republican senator's retirement has put a seat up for grabs in what's become a really close contest. Both parties want it so dearly, this has become the most expensive race in state history. So let's see what that looks like.
Hope you enjoy the rally, and let's keep fighting to make America great again.
The race to the bottom is one Tennessee sometimes wins, with one of the poorest voter turnout records in all of the United States. But then came 2018. 2 visits in a matter of weeks from President Trump surely stirring the conservative souls of this red state. They're in a good mood.
We've got a lot of job growth in Cleveland, Tennessee. There's been a lot of change, I myself have already had 2 pay raises with my job.
You need to vote for Marsha Blackburn.
Marsha Blackburn for Senate. This is the high-octane candidate.
Thank you so much for all you did to send President Donald Trump and Mike Pence.
A woman borrowing the fury of the president to campaign in his image.
Marsha Blackburn will stand with Trump to build the wall.
Trump won this state so overwhelmingly in 2016, this should be easy for Blackburn. But sign for sign, poll for poll has her tied with the unlikeliest of star opponents. Former Governor Phil Bredesen, championing that he's boring, pragmatic, nice.
You have a clear choice. If you like Washington the way it is, partisan shouting and finger pointing, I'm not your guy.
The president fills arenas, Bredesen packs town halls, talking civility.
I'm not running against the president. If he's for something that's good for Tennessee, I need to support him in that. If it's bad for Tennessee, I need to oppose him.
What Bredesen rarely mentions is the party he's running for, as if it's a dangerous word here. You don't often use the word Democrat to describe yourself. Why is that?
Because, I belong to the Democratic Party. It's an organization I belong to. It's not a religion. I have a worldview of things. It overlaps more with the Democratic Party, but my worldview comes from me, not from the canons of the Democratic Party.
Former George W. Bush advisor Mark McKinnon, now following the midterms for his documentary series, can't look away from Tennessee.
Younger voters are turning out at a higher number by a factor of 700%, which is just astonishing. It's large throughout the country, but the closest number to that is 400% in some other states. I mean, these are numbers that are just sort of hard to believe, but obviously something is going on here.
Does that send a signal to the Democratic Party, though, that maybe if he pulls this off, that maybe the future is a compromise candidate?
Yeah, I think they do. I think they Democrats in states like Tennessee are going to recognize that in order to get elected, you've got to compromise.
Economically, Tennessee is doing well. Usually a ruling party gets rewarded for that. And usually Tom Sigerin, the majority owner of the Nashville Predators, would be standing by the Republican Party as he has for most of his life. But he's an influential convert now fundraising for Bredesen, even if that startles some of his friends.
You don't see the middle. You don't see the vast majority who are in the middle in this country and have always been and always will be. They've been disenfranchised by both parties. And so that we have to get back to that.
And so this is Tennessee's political science test. Does the pull of polarization keep getting stronger?
Or is this the moment of the middle ground?
Now, we reached out repeatedly to Marsha Blackburn and her campaign, and they didn't respond to us. She has been crossing the state today in a last-minute push, and she really is counting on the strength of the president's record here to carry her to victory as the first female senator of Tennessee. So history will be made either way here tomorrow night. The state of Florida has made its share of history in past elections. These midterms promise to be no exception.
Are y'all ready to win? All right, if that's the case, then we are just, what do they say, a day away?
Voters could elect the state's first African-American governor. So let's go to Paul Hunter in Tallahassee, the state capital. Paul, can you set the scene?
Welcome to the land of hanging chads, Adrian, where it seems every election, every contest is a squeaker, and that's what they expect tomorrow. Two to look out for tomorrow. One is the contest for the Senate seat, currently held by Democrats. Bill Nelson, he's being challenged by Rick Scott, the current governor of Florida. It is neck and neck, too close to call. Likewise, the race to replace Rick Scott for governor, where Trump favorite Ron DeSantis is up against Andrew Gillum, who's a rising star among Democrats and hopes to become Florida's first African-American governor. But again, neck and neck, too close to call. It's how they do them here in Florida.
What's that one telling detail you're going to be looking for tomorrow?
Turnout. Specifically among young people. Recall the Parkland shooting and the students from that high school that went out to recruit and register millennial after millennial after millennial. To the degree guns are an issue in Florida, you know, that was just reinforced a couple of days ago with that shooting here in Tallahassee at the yoga class. So will young people turn out these midterms in Florida? They tend to skew Democratic and they tend to also stay home on election days. We'll see tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Paul Hunter in Tallahassee tonight.